I am Angel Amoroso, and welcome to episode 4 of Fuck You, Mick Foley. We're just going to get right into it. So, here you go.
There we go. Good evening. I am Angel Amoroso, and I am here this evening with episode 3 of Fuck You, Mick Foley. For those of you who are not familiar with what this show is, just going to give you a little background on it. But so far, we'd like to welcome some people who have joined us. Chris Craven and Bob Rapowinski has joined us. Welcome, fellas. I'm going to try to keep up on the comment section as much as I can. See, things like that happen, and then I don't know exactly how to do all this yet. So, you know, maybe you'll be patient with me. Carmela Panfield has joined us. Thank you for joining us, Carmela. Michael Tarras has joined us. Thank you for joining, Michael. Jeremy Seabolt has joined us. Thank you for joining, Jeremy. Conrad's Corner has joined us. Welcome, Conrad's Corner. And we'll see if we can continue to move down the list as it goes along. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with what this program is, I'll just give you a little rundown of the situation. Last year, myself and my family went to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania to a book signing that Mick Foley did. And I protested him. And I did this because I don't think that that man should be a representative for a rape and incest national network, since he had sex with a minor, and that minor was me. So, as much as this offended me, I had a hard time with it, and I made an issue out of it. So, the backlash of that ended up into a live stream video on Facebook, of which, and several other videos made by YouTubers and whoever. And comments were made about those videos to the point of cyber stalking me and my family. Things went on that weren't supposed to happen at all. And it all kind of turned against me. So victimized all over again, just to catch you up. So this program is pretty much to wrap up all the opinions and the comments that everyone has towards this situation. So we're going to get to that in a moment. First, I'd like to continue welcoming our guests this evening. Tom Beatty has joined us. Welcome, Tom. Evan Romano has joined us. Welcome, Evan. Matthew Calamar has joined us. Welcome, Matthew. Mike DeMusio has joined us. Welcome, Mike. I'm so glad to see that many people that I've known as a child who were around me for a very long time, who know some of the stories that I'm telling are facts and true. So when I read the comments that are posted under these videos and so forth, you'll see how misinformed people are and how they take the truth and twist it around and make you think, you know, they start to make you question yourself a little bit, like as if you don't know me and you weren't there for the events. So very amusing, but after a while, it's very wearing on the soul, especially when you're trying to expose the truth to people and you're trying to expose yourself to people. And this is the way they react to it. So when people attack me and come after me during my auctions during the daytime and tell me that I'm harassing Mick Foley, let me just explain. I'm not harassing Mick Foley right now, or have I been in the past episodes that I've done so far. It's not my intent. My intent is to read the harassment on Mick Foley's behalf from his fans and so-called friends and close workmates or whatever that know him so well that they know that he could have never done anything like this, and neither could anyone else. So for those of you who know me, know what a big giant joke that is. But so we'll pick up where we left off from the last one. And if for some reason I don't know how to do the screen share here and it cuts off or something, I will just start over again. And I hope you all join me back. I hope that won't happen, but we'll see. So I'm going to do the screen share, and I'm going to go to my Facebook. Let's see if I could pop me back up. There I go. Somehow move this. All right. Well, you can hear me talking, which is more than enough. I'm hoping you can see this. I'm going to go home. Okay. Okay, good. I like to go home so that then I could see that I'm actually seeing what I'm saying. All right. So I want to go to my timeline. I'm trying to access my timeline here so that I could go back to the time that I need to and read the comments. Okay. So it's recent, and we're going back to 2017. And away we go. While I, let's see if we could get me back up on the screen here while I'm moving down the list. No. I'm trying, guys. Be patient with me. Okay. Moving. So all that you're seeing right now was what ensued after. I'm going to read it all through. This is going to be the marathon. So I'm going to try to read every one of these through so that everyone knows what's going on. But this is what this is pretty much what took place. Stuff like this. People by December, this happened in November with Mick Foley. By December, people were getting me confused with Angel Orsini and made a big deal out of it. In December, I did an interview with Shelly Martinez from ECW, the WWE ECW. And there's some other shows here that covered it. This Duke Loves Wrestling, which we'll go over that. Some videos that were made there. And anyone who's friends with me can see all this on my timeline. But we're gonna go ahead and try to get to the very beginning of this, because to this day I am getting messages and all kinds of harassing materials about this incident. Yet I'm being told not to talk about it, which is odd, because you would think that people would want to clear this up and you know, know facts about it so that then they could form a better opinion on what the truth is and what it isn't. But some people are just idiots. So I hope you could see this, what I am going through right here. I'm sharing. And I did an episode on YouTube of this, which was episode 3. And episode 3 was removed. So I decided to bring it here to Facebook, where it seems like it won't be removed. So I'm going to try to start from the beginning. Let's just just go past my live stream with Donald Trump and all of this. I'm happy people are reacting to the video because now I can actually see what's going up the screen. Thank you, Mike DeMuzio. Okay, so let's start with this. This was me trying to share. Okay. This was me trying to share a video that I'm in. It's of an ECW match in 1995. It's the Sandman and Woman and Tommy Cairo and myself, the Virgin Princess Angel, against Tommy Dreamer and Cactus Jack. And I tried to share it on November 5th. And I'd been talking about it for so long before that. And WWE blocked me on copyright grounds, which, yeah, I suppose is fine. They own it, but I don't see why I can't since I am a performer in it. I'm not going to argue too much about this. What I'm going to do is read the comments under it. I posted it December 5th. So here's the comments that ensued after. Okay, I can put myself up for this. Okay, for the guys' comment, I'm just going to call them Dick, and if they're a woman, I'm going to call them cunt, just to start that off. So Dick here, James Duncan said, if you're so angry and trying to make people believe Mick had sex with you when you were 15, then why are you so upset that WWE took a video down? Okay, as I just explained, I'm in the video, so I should be able to share it. So that's the answer to that. This other Dick says, I don't believe it at all. She's fucking crazy. This other Dick says, is Mick younger than her, or at the very least around the same age? This seems ludicrous. How does it seem ludicrous? This other Dick says, Mick was born in 1965. Okay. Other Dick says, and when was this lying bitch born? Third Dick says she was born in 1975. Okay, so you figure they would have figured it out by now. This Donnie Messer, this other Dick, says, unless you look at her profile from Pro Fight, then it's 1969. This was when the trouble with the confusion with Angel Orsini started. So, Dick number 4 says, trying to upload videos of Mick, huh? Hashtag I stand with Mick Foley. This guy who's still stalking me online, on Twitter and everywhere. And he got like 4 loves out of that. And Dick number 6 says, get the network, ho, as if I need to pay WWE to view my own material. And Dick number 2, back to him. So far, her biggest piece of evidence was that she has provided was that Paulie Dangerously cutting up promo on the Virgin Princess Angel character, which is like saying an actor is a rapist because he played one in a movie. Okay. I'm going to click myself off so that I can move down this list of ridiculousness. And as you could see, the comments that were made were way after what this post was. So when people attack, they go back on your timeline and then we'll just start commenting on everything. So, okay. If we want to hold this, do we? Okay, I think actually we went over this one that has to do with Dewey Foley, who had me blocked and suspended at the time. So we'll go to this one, and I hope this doesn't get cut off because I would like for the video to play and then be able to just click back on here so that you get a good read on the video, and then I'll read the comments. So hopefully this is not going to cut off. If it does, I'll be back shortly. So let's all try to watch this. And this is about Mick Foley releasing his book last year. And this was prior to us going to the book signing. And this was my husband on the Rain page, daring him to say that he didn't have sex with me, and telling everyone exactly what happened. I even interjected, I hope that you can see this video that I'm sharing, and then you'll be able to, you know, pause it and read for it yourself, because I don't want to keep stopping and starting things when I don't even know if you guys are saying it or not. But this is pretty much, I'll read the comments after this. These are people who just had heard of the story and, of course, don't believe it. And there's a bunch of links posted of different videos that, you know, show different information, answering people's questions that they did ask about the situation, and then paid no attention to and decided to just, you know, form their own opinion and make up their own stories. I really hope you could all see that. Yeah, maybe you want to tell me if you can't. If you can't see what's going on here, after the thread, I held up a lighter to Mick Foley's tights and threatened to burn them to ashes. So I hope you all got to see that. And we're going to go over the comments in response to that video. The comments are as follows. I hope you all seen that. Okay. Well, we won't get into my husband or Frankie Starr's comments because they were covering other issues that had nothing to do with this. Okay. Let's Okay. So, this Christopher Black says, fuck him. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, these comments are like not, what? Okay, Johnny G says, holy hell, what is all of this? And I said, it's my fucking screwed up life that everyone makes a joke of, or just plain out ignores, because everyone else is a victim, but somehow I am not because of the statute of limitations. So, and that is correct. My problem is, not my problem, it's the time limit on my problem. So I said, oh, why are all of my middle fingers not showing up? Because I was putting a lot of middle fingers up to responses of the comments. I said they shouldn't give you an emotional symbol to use if they're not going to block it if they're going to block it when you use it. Because I should be allowed to do this as many times as I want to whoever I want if the symbol is available. So My friend Pete Crawford said, I met Mick when I was like 16. He was not very nice to me. Mick Foley only cares about himself. Much respect, Angel. And thank you, Pete Crawford. There were 17 replies to this. This Stephen Rourke said, this is absolutely heartbreaking to me to find out a guy I held in such high reverence and viewed as a role model because he was somebody different. He didn't look like most wrestlers, but busted his ass in a ring and proved that being overweight didn't matter. I am sorry that he did that to you. No one's knocking him on any of his accomplishments or anything that he's done as a professional wrestler in the sport, and that's not what I'm talking about. Shit, I don't disagree with you on anything that you said there, and I probably wouldn't have, had sex with him if I didn't feel that way. And I looked up to a lot of people too, and they were role models to me, and I liked them too. So, I'm sorry that that upsets you, and it upsets so many other people that, I was young and I had a sex life, and I'm telling the truth about who it was with. But it is what it is. So let's get back to these comments and replies, because there's 17 replies under this. I apologize. I said sorry to know that, though, but thank you. Pete Crawford then said, it's okay, friend. The nicest wrestler I've ever met is Stevie Richards, Dave, and Blue Meanie. And I talked to Maddie in the house twice. He's like, well, I don't know about those choices, but if they're good for you. I love Maddie, though. It's Christopher Black, which is a very interesting story. This guy stalked me for a long time while I was on a podcast last year with a little dickhead named V Infuso. And at first he was all about being on my side and support me and everything, as you'll hear in these following comments, and then totally turned against me. And but I'll get to that later. He says, exactly, this dude is a prick. I say one thing he doesn't like, and boom, I'm getting it. I don't know. I'm getting lit up, his fans and whatever. I got more shit to deal with than his pathetic attempts at redemption and ignore what he did. Pete Crawford says he would throw his autistic son under the bus if it meant getting a job with WWE. I wouldn't doubt it. Christopher Black says, didn't he pretty much? I mean, got a couple of them on the network, then started a fucking Kickstarter saying he can't afford his hip surgery. How the fuck do I have better medical insurance at 26 years old than Mick Foley? What's wrong with this picture? Total scam. And I agree. Like, I mean, should the man have wrestled this long and then for some reason need to beg the public to pay for his hip surgery? I mean, I understand you have marks and fans and everything, but I don't think it's their responsibility to repair the damage that you've done. I said all the money he has, he's got some nerve asking people to pay for his surgery. He thinks that it's because he thinks that he's special, and he does. Christopher Black says, Angel, I swear to God, this is true. All true. He really did this. You could probably find it somewhere on the internet, but honestly, I wouldn't waste my time. He's no one anymore. Well, maybe that was last year. I guess things change in a year. I said, oh, I don't doubt it. I heard about him stealing a referee's gas money in quarters to buy himself Dunkin' Donuts, Mike Keener. Someone else called him a one-eared man. And okay, I'm going to move down the list here, so I have to click myself off the screen for a minute. Again, Christopher Black says, Patrick Walsh, I'm with you as a literal cripple who still works for everything I have. When I'm physically able, it's hard for me to see people asking what I have virtually nothing. I put my heart into what I do. I'm a UPS worker. This guy just got all into his life as like, I love when people do this. They're like, you know, since there's a situation up, let me make comments about it. Long, sprawling comments with like, you know, stories that are all about me and attached to like nothing to do with the situation. So I'll go on and read his comment. Yeah, I put my heart into what I do. I'm a UPS worker in Indy. I've been in the Social Security office with all my medical paperwork and everything in a file all ready to go, and it stuns the people behind the desk. They're clearly not used to that. Meanwhile, I'm surrounded by people just clearly making up answers on the spot. Why they pull in with the sweet-ass cars and shit, it's not right. I'm not even medically allowed to drive. I have to call Uber or walk, limp my crippled ass to where I got to go. Strangely, I take a lot of pride in myself for doing this. I don't know what all this had to do with. I mean, I feel bad for the guy and everything, not after what he did, but, you know, as a human being, I guess I feel bad for him. I don't know. Then he starts talking about Krispy Kreme or whatever. I don't even know. So let's move down this list here and go on to this this other dude that I, you know, he also stalked me while I was on a podcast and was all about me, and then of course turned against me with a bunch of other people. His name was Brian Ernstrom, whatever. He says, it's funny how Mick puts on such an innocent demeanor on camera, yet there are multiple accounts for many veterans in wrestling, including that say he was a very selfish man that used politics to hold others down, and usually an asshole behind scenes. I'm sure it says scene. His Holy Foley show was such a cringeworthy mask that he was wearing that I couldn't watch it more than a couple episodes before I said, fuck this WWE studio trash. And I put in my opinion, was said about a lot of wrestlers from the 90s gaining tons of power over the next generation, then holding them back. You'd think they'd be happy to pass the torch with dignity when the time comes, but it seems like some would rather ensure spots for their own children in the business and continue trying to steal the show with one foot in the grave. Woo! That wasn't a good woo, but I'm still laughing my ass off about it, and I'm still a little dry. Now, this Fuzo, who I did a podcast with last year, and we'll get into that later, this was when I actually stopped speaking to him because of his behavior and how he was acting with people on the show and everything. I broke ties with him. I didn't want to be bothered with him, and he was very bitter about that. So he butts in the conversation after, I don't even know how he got in the conversation. I kept telling him to leave me alone. He said, he's just playing face. I don't even know who he was talking about in this. So I went ahead and just didn't answer. So moving on, let's go to the next post, because this is a fuck you Friday, fuck you Foley marathon. So we're just going to, you know, take our time and going through the comments of all these idiots that think they know what the fuck they're talking about and they don't know shit. Yeah, and we'll just see what they all have to say. Okay, let's go to another video. This one is called Facebook Feelings, and this was, again, towards the Rape and Incest National Network. Let's go to this YouTube. Now, this pretty much is my husband on Rain and their page on Facebook saying how it angers him when he sees a spokesperson for Rain. And when my wife told me how Mick Foley and many of his colleagues molested her, he was just blown away by this. These are words from Johnny Angel, Johnny LeClary, that he's been preaching this for a long time, and no one listened to him, like no one's listening to me. So I hope you all can see this, and if if it's too quick for you, please slow it down and read carefully. There we go. You see those years? 1989. I was born in 1975, mind you. That's never changed. You're born when you're born, and that's it. So after people see all these clips and they realize, okay, let's do a little bit of math. And okay, well, maybe she was 14 or 15 here, but so what? So what? You know? So what? So it's okay for teenage girls to have sex with grown men as long as they're willing and they're around wrestling. Then I guess it's not considered statutory rape because I'm an exception. Remember that? I'm the exception to the rules of statutory rape and all-out hardcore physical rape. That's me. This is just me and Sid Vicious there in July 1989. I was just letting people know that if they had any more pictures of me in bars when I was a teenager, to feel free to send them. Because I get a kick out of, looking at myself doing things that I'm not supposed to do. And my husband went on with posting pictures and videos, and then some people reasonably started to agree that Hollywood is all filled with pedophilia, and they start bringing up this Pizzagate, I don't know if it's a conspiracy. I don't think it's a conspiracy, but that was that's about that. And the comments under that, only one got posted, and it's just lying skank. And they ended it about there. There's my the Dennis Carluzzo interview, which I'm not going to play. But I grew up with Dennis. I knew Dennis for a very long time, and if Dennis were still with us, none of this would be to question. Even if Gina Moore was still here, I don't think this would be so much of a problem as it is right now. So under that video, we're going to go to the comments, which a lot were deleted because, as you can see, whenever there's like a shitload of middle fingers, that means at one point there were comments before that, and then they disappeared. Because under most of the videos, a lot of comments just, poof, just went away. Facebook. So I said in response to this, because of things that were said, that I'm not the one jumping on the hashtag #MeToo wagon. I'm the one who start driving it down the road. Think about that. RAIN is not a support group. RAIN is led by a child molester who admitted to be, he admits that he's addicted to incest porn. This is Mick Foley, the representative of fucking rape and incest national network. I just, yeah. Okay, on with the comments. This guy Brian says, it looks like guys like Mick Foley should stop donating to that cause. Shaking my head. You definitely should, unless you're so dedicated to the cause and you're donating to it because you have a guilty conscience about something you may have done and you might be trying to cover up. Person say you are, because you know what you did. So moving on, I say guys like him should be pulled from being any kind of spokesperson or representative. I mean, it's honestly a disgrace. I follow it up with saying that 5 people just stopped following me off Facebook, laughing my ass off. Goodbye, motherfuckers. See, because I love when people show their true colors in situations like this, and they say, oh, I got your back, I got your back, and then shit like this happens, and you see, they really don't have your back. So I'm going to view these replies, so I'm going to get my face off the screen. I said, it's dangerous for the victims to be around the predators. And I still feel like that, and I really don't know who wouldn't. It is dangerous for victims to be around the predators. If he's counseling these young people and even some older people that are, you know, they're in a moments of how do you say it? They're vulnerable people. So you get someone like that in a position of power who people look up to, who has a history of not going, you know, beyond the law in what he thinks is illegal to have sex with. I wouldn't put him around a rape or incest victim. I just wouldn't. Christopher Black says, I've always said that guy should be castrated, like they used to do with the eunuchs in East Asia. It's not cruel and unusual punishment to these bastards. They don't deserve to procreate. And I agree with you there. I agree with you. Although I also agree with the fact that statutory rape is much different than all-out rape. So let's all just keep that in mind. I'm not a person who's out of my mind, and I know the difference, okay? So this douchebag V. Infuso responds to that by TBF. I don't know what that means. That stepmom porn, though, I joke. I said, couldn't agree more with Christopher Black, but not V. Infuso. What stepmom porn, V. Infuso? Is this a Foley special? Because I thought he was talking at the time about Mick Foley being into stepmom porn, right? So I said, was this something for the holiday season for the kids? And he said, no, I was making a joke. Now, later on, I find out that while he's on here doing this, he's doing podcasts behind my back, talking about me and making up lies about how I was going to do some, you know, porn with my stepson or my son or something like that. Some weird shit. I don't have a son. I don't have a stepson. So, you know, what the fuck? Like, I didn't know what he was talking about then. And when I heard him say all this stuff on his podcast, I didn't know what he was talking about then. I just knew that he was being spiteful because I left the show and, you know, he had nothing to cling to. So, of course, make up shit because I won't talk to you. So, moving on. Christopher Black says, fuck them all. Rude boy, Lampy for that bullshit. I'm not a Foley dude either. For what he did to Angel and for the way he talked to me a while back. Let me just get to this message so that I can read the whole thing. I promise you guys I was polite and everything, and this dude threw a fit. Jim Cornette isn't going to mind. I did the dick spot with Joey Ryan. Turns out I was correct. Imagine that one. He acts like he didn't read it. Then he made a meme out of it that said anything for laughs. If you're at the point of doing a Mr. Sacco versus Mr. Kako gimmick, there's a problem. Again, none of this is really the issue. Not going to stop people from talking about what they want in a thread, but really not the issue. He continues to say, you know, I got your back. It'll be okay. No one thing was your Mr. Doing, I guess. Not one. You were just a child who grew into a legend. To anyone who really understands your career, that I thank him for. I have an obsession with history and the sports. Anything of the above, I'm going to click off myself so that I could read this message through. Okay, so Seymour. Above all else, people I love to death, man. You're going to be just fine, and you're amazing for all you've done and continue to do. You talked to me all day today, and I wasn't in a good spot at all, and you brought me out of that. And I did, because this kid was a cripple, and I felt bad for him for a long time. He says, I'll never forget that. I know good hearts when I meet them. You don't owe a soul anything, and yet here you are talking to me, some crippled kid, for all anyone knows, and you did it, and it matters. You have kindness in your heart that isn't existent in society, in my experience, anymore. I owe you immensely, more than I can express. Pain in your past won't define you, only your strengths. My response to this at the time, you know, because at the time it was a sweet thing to say, and he was on my side. But of course, all this changed. I said, I'm touched by reading this. I'm flattered that you think so highly of me. Most don't, and most don't. I'm telling the truth on that. You know, I'm sure why, and I don't give a fuck. I appreciate that you understand the situation and support me. You're a very intelligent young man with a good heart. I'm happy you found your way around to me. I need positive people in my life, which I still do. I don't need all this negativity. I'd have nothing to make of a show if it wasn't for negativity. So I move on to say it really helps to get through some bad times. Easy when you have the right people around to brighten a very dark situation. Let us be here for each other to help each other. That's what social media is supposed to be for, supposed to be about. And, you know, sang a prayer for you, because you turned out to be a real fucking dickhead. In response, with his long ass, let's just go through the long ass responses. I'm just sorry I stumbled across that video as I'm watching your matches. It caught my eye and totally pissed me off when I saw the evidence. I quit with Foley a while back because he's a dick anyway. I'm fucking ashamed that fucker's from here. This kid's from Long Island, I guess. So a man who has a young, a man who has a young himself, I don't know, acts like Santa and shit. Let me just move this up so I can get back on the screen here. Sleep not worth our time. When I think about it, he's doing this just for attention. He feels guilty for a reason, and that's exactly, yeah. Angel, you're strong as fuck. He's pathetic. You realized just last year he was bitching and complaining about wanting to kickstart a thing for his hip replacement. How the fuck does he have the money? Doesn't he have the money? I heard rumors he's a totally different person, and you think he is, and look who he looks to people for freebies. All fucking scum. Heyman is a known fucking scum. He's ruined Tammy and Chris. Well, Tammy ruined herself, and left Tammy in bankruptcy. Everyone blames her somehow. Well, that's because she's a cunt, and it is her fault. I start thinking about all the scumbags, then other scumbags, and how they all need to just go fuck each other in prison, selling Detroit for bullshit and lies. Everyone's biggest comeback when they defend that fuck is, oh, Tammy did porn. Big fucking deal. Everyone has sex. The only people that are making a big deal out of it are the other people who aren't going to get laid and have no fucking lives, sitting around and not going to do dick. I apologize for the rant, Angel. These people, all these people are pissing me off. Your husband is showing evidence, and they still don't get it. They can't handle the truth. A bunch of fucking rude boy Riley type shit 10 times. It's not that I disagree with all of it, but some of it, I'm not going to get into, Tammy, because it's not my place and it's not my business, and I don't care. He moves on to say, I apologize, I just lost it over this. No wonder there's a certain individual out there with photos and people are suspiciously quiet right now. All of these motherfuckers will pay one day when they meet God. Mark my words on that. So I'm just telling them that no apologies are necessary, and I'll keep moving down this list here because he's absolutely right. Proof and witnesses, but you know, none of it seems to matter because they're all somebody's, while to the world and the world's point of view, I am a nobody. And I guess if I was fucking Gwyneth Paltrow or Ashley Judd yapping about fucking #MeToo, this situation would have ended a lot different. So, and again, I still feel that way. If I was Gwyneth Paltrow, this would have been wrapped up within weeks. But I'm not knocking Gwyneth Paltrow, but I'm just saying I'm nobody. So they don't give a shit. Yes. This guy said, Angel, you're like the Highlander. There can only be one Angel. We love you the way you are. Plus, I mean, Gwyneth Paltrow married Coldplay. Okay. Well, now we're going on about music. And again, I'm going to click myself off here so that I could go to a couple more replies to see what nonsense. Okay, this is just Calvin Harrington who says, we stand with Angel Amoroso, which that hashtag didn't trend much, but I thank you so much for it anyway, and thank you for your support. This Christopher Black is back because he just can't talk enough. And he's vocalizing himself with hashtag I stand with Angel Amoroso, and I always will. The abused need to be loved. The abuse must stop, and the abusers must face what they've done and the pain they've caused. Angel Amoroso, may God bless you and your family. You know, I wish that the tune on this one would have stayed the same, and he kept singing the same song because it just, this is one that still continues to the same day. So, well, moving on. Oh, I said, okay, the abusers should be abused now. They should all feel the pain they caused others. Bless you. And I put my own hashtag that my buddy Johnny Rankin started for me. I didn't even start it, but I kept it on. And this Christopher Black says, absolutely, we won't allow this to go silent. Dewey, Mick, and all these little bastards, even the whole fucked up industry can try, but it won't do shit. They stop us all. They have gone for fucking years while scoring from the very least of the 80s. Let's go more into this comment and see. Get me off the screen there. Okay. This has gone on for fucking years, well sourced for at the very least in the 80s, all the way to the very year with JBL. The only time this ever really came to head was on the episode of Phil Donahue, where even back then, Vince McMahon, Dave Meltzer, and these fucks essentially defended this industry despite several former workers coming forward and telling their stories, such as Randy Orton, Uncle Barry Orton, and they just attacked these victims. It was doubted. The Ring Boy scandal, and I recommend YouTube the Behind the Titantron episode on it. These nasty bastards called them the Cream Team. Yeah, I know. All led by Pat Patterson. Vince's right-hand man. We all know who he is, but now we're supposed to cry when he came out as being gay. After all of that, no, I won't. I'm not cool with gays. This is not me saying this. I'm reading someone's comment, by the way. But this issue is about refusing to give attention and sympathy to a sick fuck. All these fucks are fucking Dave Meltzer claims to know it all. Well, Dave, what about now? Yeah, what about now, Dave? Now he claims he knows nothing and defends the industry. Fuck them all with a chainsaw up their ass. This is all happened under Vince's nose, and he had to know about it. I'm sick of this shit. Yes, just fucking stop, and this has to be stopped. You know what? I mean, this has been going on in professional wrestling forever. So this is not new. I responded with, there's actually a video on YouTube and Daily Motion of Patrick Walsh's account, excuse me, that covers the Cream Team situation pretty thoroughly. Please take a look when you get a chance. And I say this because my husband has been covering these things on his YouTube. He's got a New World Order of the Time, if you want to go over there and tune in. He's got several videos, and there are other YouTubes that we'll get to view those videos. And this is not just a situation focusing on me. He's done videos about different scandals in the past WWE history, WWF history, however. So I'm going to go back to reading these comments. Christopher Black says he was checking it out. It already got a few hundred views, and what you'll see in the videos that I click on got several thousand views in just a few hours from the situation. I said, I brought up what's really shameful is that Roddy Piper admitted to being molested by Pat Patterson. Fucking Roddy Piper. Okay? And now he wasn't even abused. Now, then he told a different story. Whatever. So, in response to this person who I did podcast with, who I'm trying to ignore and keeps getting involved in my conversation, responds in saying he took it back, though, before his passing. If he did, I didn't know about it. I said, you can't unring a bell. And the thing is, you can't. You can't. It's like what I've been saying for years. I can't unsay it, and I won't unsay it, Loeb and Loeb. Just know that. I won't unsay it. Moving on. I said, maybe Roddy Piper retracted out of embarrassment. Otherwise, are we to believe he's a liar who made it up? Roddy Piper rang the bell, and he can't unring it just like that. He can't. He said what happened, and I believe him. I believe it. Because, come on, why wouldn't you believe it with the history of Pat Patterson? But then again, if you're a person watching this, why wouldn't you believe this? Especially if you fucking know me. And then you turn against me like you weren't there in the fucking bar with me, like watching me surrounded by people and watching me leave bars with people, and even sometimes in the room with me when I had sex with people. And now you people are going to turn against me and call me a fucking liar. You are all fucking jokes. You're all fucking cowards, and you're all fucking joke. For fucking, you just want to hide and act like it didn't happen, and make it so that in all these comments, by the way, where all these strangers are degrading and harassing me and my family, and do still to this day, not one of you motherfuckers get in the conversation and say, you know what, you all need to shut the fuck up because she's not lying, because I was there and I witnessed it, and none of you know what you're talking about, and you're spreading fake news, and you're trying to ruin this person's life and destroy her and her family. Not fucking one of you. So I'm going to continue to read this with extreme hostility towards those who you know should probably be opening your fucking mouths at some point. Moving on. this thickhead V moves on to say, Piper said his words were misconstrued. But I'm being real. I've seen the video of him admitting it, and it seems very hard to misconstrue. My response was, and this is when I'm not talking to a person trying to ignore them. I said, misconstrued? If it didn't happen, he wouldn't have brought it up. Don't you think, I mean, it's not like he's making it up for attention. He's Roddy Piper. He's already has all the attention he can get. Why look for negative attention by making up some shit like that? It just doesn't make sense. And then I continued to say, dude looked distraught telling that 30-second story. And if any of you want to go back and look at that video of Roddy Piper, I don't care what he retracted, but this shit ain't right. And this is not about that situation, but it's just an example of how the things happen in wrestling and people get away with stuff because other people tell them, listen, don't say that, shut up, you're bad, you're being bad for the business, and you know, shut your mouth and don't tell these stories, and you know, hey, if you say this or that, you won't get booked, or and then maybe if you are booked, you'll start getting treated differently in the locker room or differently by promoters. Don't think it doesn't still happen, because it fucking does. Moving on, as Christopher Black said, he said he was abused by Patterson, then retracts his own statement, and he's on Legends House on the WWE network with Patterson. I imagine he was probably told, retract that statement in some manner, or they weren't going to allow him to be involved. That's just my opinion. And you know what? I don't think that's just an opinion. I think that's probably exactly what happened, because everyone's always trying to bury stuff so much that they'll tell you, retract it, retract it. Nothing's getting retracted. Not here, not ever. Moving on. I said, sounds dead on, Christopher Black. I'm going to click off so we can move on and read these comments here. Piper's interview with Sean Oliver was pretty hard to watch. There was clearly things he wanted to say, but wasn't sure he could. Remember his HBO interview that got him fired from the company? He said he needed that money. I imagine he was probably willing to retract a statement if he was desperate enough to get paid again. And it's shameful that he looked really torn up about the whole situation. And then suddenly he said it was a misunderstanding. And I say, I'm just not eating that at all. I'm just not. I think that Roddy Piper got more than diddled by Pat Patterson. And of course, this whole thread went off topic, and people were planted in my way to do this and just, you know, get off topic talking about other things other than me. And, you know, for a while I was trapped up by trying to listen to other people's opinion and be reasonable about it. But, you know, when the misdirection starts and you see how ridiculous people are, it's like, it's just ridiculous. Okay, so this on November 10th, 2017, I said, it takes a lot less time to type hashtag I stand with Angel Amoroso than it does to ask me for a topless picture. Okay, and I said this because this is all I get. I say keep this in mind, friends, because I do. Okay? And I'm going through it, and I was joking with my friend Sean Rattray because, you know, I do understand, but I put the picture up there because it's funny. And we went on because this is the way I joke, and I like to make light of the disgusting situations sometimes. Okay. So Scott Worley, you know, stalker, is back under this post now and says, you both need to drop that hatchet. You ain't no damn fan, don't try to ruin people's lives. And I said, fuck you. I don't know you and you don't know me, asshole. Fuck off. Now, go on and change your profile picture for the 4th time this month, coward, because that's what this idiot does. He keeps changing his profile picture and changing one letter in his name and then getting a new account. And yeah, by the way, that was me who had your account deleted on Twitter, motherfucker. Just know that, you know, since you guys still want to bother me, I'm going to start keeping up on it. And I'm going to actually... I've decided to start screenshotting and video screening like times when I do have you you all blocked and suspended, and so because since you all like to do it to me, you know, I figure I'll start doing it to you. And even if it's on a message from fucking a year or 2 ago, I'm just going to go on a goddamn rampage. Reporting you people because you love to do it to me. And the few times that I did it, I had some fun. So this one right here, 33 comments, and we already went over this one in episode 2. Actually, in episode 4, which I was calling episode 4 at the time because there was an episode 3, but now there isn't. So this is episode 3. And here goes another one that we went over. That was my video. If we want to start that from the beginning, I know we really don't want to, but we will. So, Arabian Bookstore, where today, Cactus Jack, also known as Mick Foley, will be doing a book signing, releasing his new book, Saint Mick, luring all the little children to sit on his lap. It's an RSVP event, of which, of course, we're not going to pay for. And we have a lot to say. So we're just going to take everything we have to say and take it across the street and let all these people in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania know exactly what kind of person Mick Foley is. Let's go. Rockabilly blue. I like my hair that color. Everyone else made comments about it that weren't so nice. But I liked it. 1,000 views later. Let's move up to, okay. Let's see what this is. It got 9 shares somehow. Yeah, we can't let your children sit on his lap. This is a little shaky. I'm assuming this was from John Rankin or Tim Warner's camera. They were also with us during the protest. So, here you go. But at least we got on the other side of the street. And I got bumped off the truck. Okay, actually, that's an 18-minute video, so I'm actually not going to play that. Just going down here, explaining that. So now the Angel Amoroso account has been censored again, taking a video down after over 50,000 views and then over 100,000, and then all the comments went with it. I would have had a lot more material if they didn't take it down. I wanted an explanation from Facebook. I really do. And I still want an explanation from Facebook. And I want to know where all that material went and why is it they took it down. I continue with saying, it wasn't inappropriate for 3 days and hundreds of shares, but all of a sudden, now it's not allowed. If anyone keeps wondering why they never heard of this story that I'm telling right now, here's a prime fucking example. Every time I try to say something, I get attacked and then banned in silence. So, you wonder why you never heard it? Look towards your surroundings, your circles in professional wrestling, look around your politicians, look around your social media, and you'll see exactly who gets to speak and get their problems taken care of and who doesn't. This was reference to Representative Mark Rossi, and who is in big support of me in this situation. Just know that. I'm going to click this off so that I can go down to my friend Sean Rattray said, I never liked Mick Foley. Cactus Sack, I'd love to boot that fucking clown. Yeah, well, Doll, I would love for you to boot him too. At first, though, I think it would be respectful and safe for everyone if Rain just booted him. And that's really all that I'm just saying, like, it's inappropriate. This is another 100 comments from ewrestling.com. We could go to that directly and see comments because I already read the ones that are on here. So we'll go directly to the article here that I don't know if it's and this was written by our good friend Ryan Clark, who initially got in touch with us for an interview and said that he wanted to clear up the situation, and then never got back to me or my daughter or my husband because he was harassed and trolled by people on Facebook and talked out of getting my side of the story. So here we go with this article. Pat Turner sent this photo along, which reportedly took place outside of a Mick Foley book signing earlier this week. A Facebook page for a woman named Angel Amoroso can be found at this link. The page features videos showing her outside Mick Foley's autograph signing. We have also found this video on YouTube where Angel Amoroso claims she was sexually assaulted by multiple WWE superstars. You can check that out below. And below is the video. So eWrestlingNews.com reached out to Mick Foley for a statement or a comment regarding the photo above, but we have not heard back as of this writing. If we receive a statement from him, we will post it immediately. Yeah, that was a year ago, and let's play that video. Oh. Yeah. So I didn't make that video. Okay. Just want to get back on here. I didn't make that video. My husband made that. There might have been a few mistakes here and there. However, to define sexual abuse, okay, when you're an adult and you are 10 years or more the senior of a child that's under the age of 18, you are sexually molesting a child. You are abusing a child when you have sexual intercourse with that child. You are abusing that child when you kiss that child, when you touch that child, when you have oral sex with that child, when you have anal sex with that child, when you have any type of sex with a child under the age of 18, 17, 16, again, I'm not saying anything about anybody that I was with at 16 and 17, because I've realized that in some states it's arguable, disgraceful, but arguable. However, under the age of 16 is not permissible anywhere. So if you disagree with me on that, and you disagree with what you just seen in the list of different people that I did have sex with, if you disagree with me that a 13, a 12, 13, or 14, 15-year-old little girl should, in any condition, doesn't matter, if you think that it's right for them to get away with that, or if you think that I'm wrong for thinking that it's wrong, you please let me know, because I know the people that I have joining me right now may tell me the truth. As I've said before, I have been through years of therapy over this. I have post-traumatic stress about a lot of different things, but this always comes back around. And I'm not misconstruing the situation. I'm not misunderstanding the situation. Professionals have sat down and listened to me many, many, many times. And I actually had to, it was very hard for me to deal with. And it took a lot for me to accept this. And for the people, for those of you who know me and know what kind of child I was, it's not the type of woman that I am. And if you know what type of child that I was very stubborn and hard-headed and didn't listen to people and things like this. It was very hard for me to understand that I was being abused and molested and used, and even carried on into my adult life. So if you question sometimes the way I act, then maybe this will explain some things for you. So moving on, I'm going to go to the next one here is CHMR's Ring Rust. This was from November 18th. I'm afraid to click on the page because sometimes if I click on the page, then they'll think that I like the page. So, but whatever. Wrestling Rumors, a Facebook page for a woman called Amoroso features a video showing her outside WWE Hall of Fame Mick Foley's autograph session. This video also on YouTube, where an Amoroso claims she was sexually assaulted multiple times by WWE superstar. I don't know about the word assault, but okay. Okay. Here's a article from November 18th from the Sportster. WWE legend accused of misconduct. Let's just go to that article. Good Lord. This is what, I mean, and if you look at this, really? Are you really questioning what I'm saying? I just don't get it. Well, let's go on a movie preview article. WWE Hall of Famer and former Raw General Manager Mick Foley has been accused of sexual misconduct by a woman when she was 15 years of age, excuse me, as first reported by Ryan Clark of eWrestlingNews.com. The woman named Angel Amoroso shared a video to the account, the alleged incident on her Facebook page. Amoroso walked around with a sign that said Foley engaged in sex with her when she was 15 years of age. Foley has yet to respond to the incident, and there has been no further details at this time, which is bullshit because there was a bunch of further details on my behalf afterwards, just not on any of theirs. It goes on to say, this allegation joins a trend of countless women revealing stories about being sexually harassed or assaulted, especially by powerful male celebrities and politicians. This started with over 50 different women accusing Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein of assaulting them. It led to Weinstein being fired by the Weinstein Company while being expelled and suspended from numerous academics that he was part of. Now, this is what these people are saying. This didn't just come up with me over any fucking Harvey Weinstein. I never even knew who Harvey Weinstein was. They go on to say recently, former U.S. President George H.W. Bush has also been accused of sexual assault on numerous occasions in the past 20 years. I didn't know that until just now. Actor and producer Louis C.K. and other major celebrities have also faced repercussions following alleged assaults against them. WWE.com has also yet to respond to the allegations against Foley, even though they were contacted. For what it's worth, an arrest would be automatically have Foley, who's recovering from hip surgery in April, suspended from the company. Throughout the WWE's history, a number of wrestlers, employees, and other officials have been accused of sexual assault and misconduct. So I'm not the first one to say anything. This includes former trainer Bill DeMott, who left the WWE following allegations, and referee Pat Patterson. Former diva Ashley Massaro also claimed she was assaulted during her tenure with the company in 2006. The allegations against Foley are indeed shocking and don't reflect well for the WWE. Until more details come out, it remains to be seen if Foley will face any charges or repercussions for the allegations. Well, here we go a year later, and I guess someone is just like Jesus, because no one wants to touch the great legend, do they? Even though he's done wrong, and all of his friends have done wrong, and I can't see where you people don't see this. This here, on November 20th, was a Twitter that my daughter Christina J. Polis put up, and it's called Facts. And we had Gossip Girl and a whole bunch of people following this. And this Twitter is a bunch of facts. If anyone would like to go review it, very much like for you to. This gives all the facts about, you know what? Let's see if we could go review it. What the hell? Let me click off of this. And then we'll show you what this is all about. Because I think it's important for everyone to know what the facts are about certain subjects. And not this, because this is more of a more recent messages that my daughter has put up. But let's just go with from the last post, okay? Here we go. Okay. Truth will ultimately prevail where there is pains taken to bring it to the head, whatever. George Washington. 1990 minus 1975 equals 15. Math. Hashtag math. This is my daughter's Twitter. I haven't been following this particular story, but I'm just here for the good questions. Okay. I don't know, we're not going to show that. But, so we're just going to keep reading. How could a person publicly stand by an organization that helps support for victims of assault while failing to acknowledge the time that they were guilty of statutory rape? And my daughter added this to Real Mick Foley. How could you publicly stand by an organization that helps rape and incest people and support for victims when you yourself are guilty of statutory rape? Good question, right? And that was added at Real Mick Foley. Nobody's been blocked. I guess, yeah, we're guilty. And it moves on to say, this is, again, why I bring up Ashley Judd and how could a person publicly stand by an organization that helps provide support for victims of sexual assault while privately pretending that they have no power. And this was from Scarlett Johansson, has scathing words for James Franco. I want my pin back. Like, who gives a shit about this meaningless nonsense? My daughter then goes on to post a video that says, if you shut up truth and bury it underground, it will grow in itself such an explosive power that the day it bursts through, it will blow up everything in its way. And that's a quote by Neil Zola. And the video attached to that is the truth about WWE legends that are child abusers. And attached is my video. And no one's, as you can see, no one's been hiding this. We move on to say, truth will ultimately prevail where there is pains taken to bring it to light. And that's a quote by George Washington. And that was posted after my interview with Shelly Martinez from WWE's ECW, where you can hear a full detailed story of my accounts and my story. The next one says, I am literal. I am a literal, let me just get on for this. This is a tweet by my daughter. I am a literal byproduct of this. And by this, she means child abuse and sexual molestation. See, because I was married when I was 15, and I had my daughter when I was 16. So moving along. I am a literal byproduct of this. I tried to make it as simple as possible, but a sense is not that common, so it can be pretty difficult. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. Just saying. Wise words, right? She goes on to say, especially when it's been thoroughly examined by professionals and acknowledged that it's true, and yet nothing has been done. Weird, right? I think so too. And I think if you're a human being with a heart, you would, or children, or a sister, or a mother, you would probably also think so. Statutory rape is rape. 12 to 17 years old is underage. No matter how you want to twist it to your advantage. Fact, 12 to 17 years of age is underage. You can't have sex with that. Did you ever hear that expression, like, I don't know, 17 will get you 25 or whatever? I don't know. Am I crazy, or am I making that up? Okay, Christina J. moves on to say, with the years of being told that you're crazy, being put away over the same situation time and time again, and just told to get over it, it would probably drive you a bit crazy too. And she says this in reference to how many times I have been put away when I have went totally nuts over all of this, and no one wanted, they they listened, but they didn't want to do anything about it, and they still don't. Moving on, she says, okay, I just think it's funny how most women are praised for coming out for their sexual abuse and harassment, while others are demeaned, berated, and condescended to. You may not like the person making the accusations, but it doesn't make the claim any less valid. However, we would all, in a perfect world, like to believe that that's true, but it just totally isn't. It really does depend on who you are and what you're complaining about and who you're complaining about, and that all falls into whether or not you're actually going to get any justice for anything that has ever been done to you in your life. So, moving along. Truth is incontrovertible. Panic may resent it. Ignorance may deride it. Malice may distort it. But there it is. There it is. And that's not me saying that. That's Winston Churchill. The truth does not change according to our ability to stomach it. That's a Flannery O'Connor. Tell me when I should stop the facts. There's no worse lie than a truth misunderstood by those who hear it wrong. Better a cruel truth than a comfortable delusion. Right. Truth will only make you unpopular. Well, I don't know if it's only truth that did that, but whatever. All truth passes through 3 stages. First, it's ridicule. Second, it's denial. Third, opposed. And third, it's acceptance as being self-evident. The truth is hate for those that hate the truth. And I'm going to read that again. Truth is hate for those that hate the truth. Remember that. Truth is rarely pure and never simple, says Oscar Wilde. If you are not angry, you are not paying attention to this or anything else. And this on December 12th was posted after a long argument that my daughter decided to take part in with a bunch of trolls on Facebook and Twitter, and it went on and on. And she posted this meme that says, when you're winning the argument with facts and they start attacking you personally instead of addressing the issue, which people love to do. And that's really what Fuck You, Mick Foley is all about. That's what it's all about, is, you know, addressing those people who like to take personal information about you or make up information about you that they say is your personal business, and then start attacking you so that they can misdirect the whole situation and just make everyone think that you're a crazy liar. So that's the way that works. Let's go on. When you are in doubt, be still and wait. When doubt no longer exists, go forward with courage. So long as mist envelops you, be still. Be still. Sunlight pours through and dispels the mist, as it surely will, as courage. Yes, so, okay. You could read it, right? You could read these, okay. This was a video posted about Paul Heyman, which Paul Heyman then reported and had removed from my daughter's YouTube. And here is a small list of facts. Obsession. The state of being obsessed with someone or the idea or thought that continuously preoccupies the mind and intrudes on a person. Harassment. Aggressive pressure or intimidation. Stalker. A person who harasses or persecutes someone with unwanted obsessive attention. I'm going to get to all this later. Liar, a person who tells lies. Plain and simple. These are facts you could look up in any Webster's dictionary. We're going to keep going. Two-faced, insincere, and deceitful. Discredit, to injure the credit or reputation of, defame, to show undeserving or to be untrustworthy, destroy confidence in, to give no credibility and being, disbelief. Defame, to attack the good name or reputation of, as by uttering maliciously or falsely anything injurious, slander, or libel, commiculate, whatever, disgrace, being dishonored upon, to accuse. So that's our definition of defame. Now, let me just mind you so far that nothing that I did or said about Mick Foley or any of his 20 plus friends was any of this. I did not defame anyone. I did not slander anyone. And none of this is liable because it's all the truth. Moving on. Scandal, a disgraceful or discreditable action, circumstances, etc., caused by fault or misdeed. Damage to reputation, public disgrace, defamatory talk, malicious gossip, a person who conducts themselves to bring offense. Okay? So, scandal. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Problem. Any question or matter involving doubt, uncertainty, or direct question proposed for a solution or discussion. That's simple. Problems need resolutions. If you bring a problem up, perhaps you should get that problem solved. Answer. To speak or write in response. Make an answer or a reply. To response to an act or emotion. To act or suffer in consequence. One's response to be held in one's responsibility or accountability, to be satisfactory or serve or correspond. Okay? So now we all know what a problem is, and then, okay, let's move on. Let's go. We all know what an answer is, so let's see what a question is defined by Webster's dictionary. To ask someone a question, ask someone, interrogate, or inquire. To make a question of doubt, to challenge, or dispute. So now that we all know the definition of a question, defined by Webster's dictionary, and every thesaurus in the world, and then we know the definition to an answer, then we know the definition to a problem, and we all know that I brought up my problem, and I start asking a whole bunch of questions real loud in public, right? And then a whole bunch of other people start reporting on it in a real closed community, all right? And then they got their answers from me to resolve whatever questions they had in their head. However, none of these 20 plus individuals has answered any of these questions ever, ever. It's been a year. I'm going to click off so I can keep going down the list here. Aggravate, to make worse or more severe, intensify as anything disorderly or troublesome, to aggravate, to grievance, to aggravate and to annoy, irritate, to cause or to become irritated or inflammatory. Accountability. Wow, that's important. Let's read accountability. The state of being accountable. See, I know all about accountability because if I didn't, I wouldn't be here with my mouth running, talking about all of this. Let's read what accountability means. The state of being accountable, liable, or answerable are all accountable to someone for saying something that you do, you are respected and must be prepared to justify your actions to that person. Okay. The truth. The quality or state of being true. He had to accept the truth of the accusation. That which is true or in accordance with fact or reality is the truth. You see? That's simple. Just that simple. Truth is truth and lies are lies. Fact. A thing that is indisputable, the case. Used in discussing the significance of something that is the case. A piece of information used as evidence or a part of a report or article. Oh, okay. So that's a fact, huh? And we go on. This is posted by Christina Jade on November 26, 2017. Silence. We give you the definition of silence, since by that point, it had been quite a while. Complete absence of sound, caused to become silent or prevent from speaking. So at any point, did the general manager lose his voice? Did he get laryngitis? Is there some reason why Mick Foley all of a sudden couldn't speak 15 days after this, or 30 days after this happened, or 2 months, or 3 months, or 6 months, or 1 year? Think about that. Think about it. Then Christina, as she always has, sent a copy of my 7-minute story to CNN and Fox News and NBC and sometimes Chicago Tribune, New York Times, as you can see here, USA Today, MSNBC. So no one can say that, you know, this was never shared around. Jane Pauley, Ruby Wax, Lisa Bloom, Katie Couric, Dateline NBC, BBC, Today Show, Fox News, CBS News, Latin Times, NBC News, TMZ Sports, by the way, which Lucas Weidman, I don't know what the fuck your problem is, dude, but you fucking called me. I'm sorry, you didn't call me. You inboxed me on Facebook to get the story, and then you fucking backed off. Was it because you and your boss talked to Mick Foley first, and he said, oh, you know what? It's true, but please don't cover this because then I'll have to go to jail. I wonder how that went down, Lucas Weidman. Yeah, we're going to bust you wide open later. So just hang in there for that. You want proof that he contacted me? I'm going to fucking give it to you. So let's go back to see how many people this was sent to. 60 Minutes and Reuters, Breaking News, Washington Post. And then after no response from any of those outlets at all, we go to the next definition of ignorance, a lack of knowledge or information. Next, it's just twist someone's words around, to restate someone's words inaccurately, to misrepresent what someone has said. And this tweet was made after my words were twisted horribly. Not even my words so much. I held up a sign that said 15 years old. And then the idiots that reported on the story kept saying that I said I was 17 years old. I don't know where this stuff comes from. I really don't. Hate speech. Speech expressing hatred of a particular group of people or a person. Next is copyright infringement. This is a real interesting one. The use of works protected by copyright law. Oh, I'm going to get right into this. Without permission, infringing certain exclusive rights granted to the copywriters, such as the rights to reproduce, distribute, display, or perform the process, or to make derivatives works. Okay, all well and good and all, but you know, that copyright shouldn't exists for the people who actually performed in the video. That's all I'm saying. Slander, the action or crime of making a false spoken statement towards a person's reputation. Making false and damaging statements about another human. Okay, that's slander. You see? Slander is a crime of making false accusations against someone. So if slander is a crime, and slander is what you're accusing me of because you are all saying that I'm lying, I've committed a crime. And look, here I go. Still talking about this, still being harassed about this, and still gaining no justice on my behalf over those who have done wrong to me, and laugh it off like it's no big fucking deal. Moving on. Emotional distress. Legal definition, a negative emotional reaction to a traumatic episode may include fear, anger, anxiety, and suffering. Endured, experienced, I don't know, whatever. If you think for a minute that I haven't suffered emotional distress, not over this situation currently, but the past situation, if I didn't suffer emotional distress, I wouldn't even be fucking bringing it up. So think about that. Next is fake news and misinformation still continues to be reported, while in the following, can everyone see the picture where the sign says 15 years old in the headline here? Where now is this age 17? They're getting all their shit all so wrong. Everyone, see, the thing is that everyone else gets their stories wrong when places like LiveLeak and TMZ and whoever report the stories. And as you can see right in the picture there from the video that, you know, they'll make it play like it's theirs, like I shouldn't have a copyright on my own video, says right there in the sign 15, right? So this headline says, wrestler Mick Foley gets berated outside of Christmas Santa meet and greet. Woman named Angel said Mick Foley raped her when she was only 17. And many others raped her in 1994, including the Ultimate Warrior. When the fuck did I say that? When the fuck did I say that? Oh, God. It's like dealing with fucking, I don't even know. I don't even know how to explain this. Okay. And so I'm just going to move on because I don't want to lose it too much over just one thing that it happens so many places. It's ridiculous. Let's go to diverge. To separate from another route, especially a main one, and, you know, gear people in a different direction. And this is what was being done. Diversion. Deviation. The action of departing from an established course or road or standard, deviation from the norm. You know what it means. Deflect. To cause something to change direction by interposing something aside from a straight course. Cause someone to deviate from for a particular purpose. So we see the deflection going on and the deviation. And next says, will this continue to be swept under the rug? Sent to CNN, Washington Post, CBS, NBC, CNN. As you can see here, and this is my daughter's college demo reel from 2013, which you could see on Maramoo YouTube if you'd like to. I will play that at some other time. But notice the published date of this. And everyone says this is all coming out right now. This video right here is from 2013. So, yeah, nothing's just being brought up. Swept under the rug, See, now we're getting into definitions of sayings. So, swept under the rug. An idiom meaning to conceal something that is embarrassing that you don't want other people to know about. Keep sweeping it. Bury. Put or hide underground. Completely cover. Cause to become inconspicuous. Secret. Not known or seen, or not meant to be known or seen by others, something that is kept or meant to be kept unknown or unseen by others. I'll let you read that one over again because I won't waste time doing it. We know what secrets are, and we know now I'm exposing your secrets. So on we go. On we fucking go. Next, 15 will get you 20. Did you ever hear that one? 15 will get you 20. It is illegal for anyone above the age of 16 to have sex with a person below the age of 16. Therefore, when you sleep with a 15-year-old or younger, you will get 20 years in prison. Unless, of course, you're a professional wrestler. Moving on, child neglect, a type of maltreatment related to the failure to provide age-appropriate care. Unlike physical and sexual abuse, neglect is used by an ongoing pattern of inadequate care and is readily by individuals in close contact with the child. Okay, child neglect, yeah. Sure, my parents were horrible, and I would have never been in any of these situations if it wasn't for my parents. I've said that many times, and if you keep listening, you'll hear me say it a million times more. Statutory rape. Here's the definition. Sexual intercourse with a minor. See that? It's just that simple. Statutory rape is sexual intercourse with a minor. Now, that's Webster's dictionary. However, statutory rape is also sexual misconduct, which includes, any kind of misconduct with the child, including just contact. So it doesn't really have to be intercourse. It could be sexual, physical contact, and they count that as not only intercourse. So sexual addiction, also known as a sex addiction, sex addict, is a state characterized by compulsive participation or engaging in sexual activity, particularly intercourse, despite negative consequences. This tweet was put up because after the federal marshals came to my house to interview me. So nice of you both. And I admitted that at one point I had a sexual addiction in my life. They told me that none of that mattered, because if I was addicted to sex and I'm not going under any treatment, and I was having sex with people when I was 12 and 13, 14, 15 years old, it had to start somewhere first for me to become an addict of sex to continue to be an addict of sex. So if, I was having sex with people 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, the sexual addiction didn't just come from me. It came from the people who had sex with me. And if the people that had sex with me were above the age of 15, above the age of 21, 30, 40, 50, then, they caused the sexual addiction, not me. Next is nymphomaniac. A woman who has abnormally excessive and uncomfortable sexual desires. Now, I don't know why they just give the definition as a woman, but in this particular instance, I guess that would be accurate. Woman defined as an adult human female. Let me stress that. Woman is an adult human female. That means she's over the age of 18 and illegal to do whatever the hell you want with. Moving on. I think it's very important. I think it's very important to just get the meaning of these words out so that then everyone understands what I'm about to get into marathon-like shows about. We want to go over all these terms first so that everyone understands that who's right and who's wrong, whether you like me or not. Moving on. Girl, defined by Webster's Dictionary, is a female child, a young or relatively young woman under the age of 18. Sex offender, generic term for all persons convicted of crimes involving, including rape, molestation, sexual harassment, and pornography. Distribution of pornography. In most states, convicted sex offenders are supposedly to report to police and authorities, but many do not. And of course they don't. I think at this particular time that really the most that I could hope for that, these people would admit that they are sexual offenders and, maybe say, hey, you know what, maybe I shouldn't be around as many children as I am, and maybe I should lay off of trying to be a representative for a rape and incest national network because it's a disgraceful fucking thing to do, and maybe I should think about that for the future of myself and my children and my grandchildren. But no, Mick Foley, you just go ahead and you keep, keeping your position and thinking that you're doing the right thing. Moving on is the definition of the word deceit. The action or practice of deceiving someone by concealing or misrepresenting the truth. A web of deceit is an example of this word. So let's move on to more interesting words that we're going to learn the definition of before we hear this whole story, because I don't want anyone to be misunderstood on what it is I'm talking about or how it is I feel. Frightened, thrown into a fright, afraid, scared, terrified, afraid. Avoid, keep away from or stop oneself from doing something, nullifying or render void. Ignore, refuse to take notice of or acknowledge, disregarded intentionally by grand jury. Reject, indictment as groundless. So just pay no attention to it. Pretty much is definition of ignore. And that's what's been pretty much what's been going around is listen. And I've read this in a lot of groups, and I'll get to it later. Ignore her and she'll go away. Don't cover this. Don't pay attention to it, because if you do, it's going to destroy this business. Don't listen to a word she says. Don't acknowledge it when she talks, and she'll just stop. And do you really think that that's the way it's going to work out? Because this time around, that's not the way it's going to work out. So you just fucking keep on thinking that. Excuse me. Anxiety. A feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease. Typically about imminent events or something with an uncertain outcome. Psychiatry, nervous disorders characterized by a state of excessive uneasiness and apprehension, typically with compulsive behavior or panic attacks. And let me just tell you, from all of these incidents that have happened in my life, I suffer major panic attacks, major anxiety attacks. I have post-traumatic stress disorder, and a list of other things that I don't care to get into in damage from the inside out. So if any of you question why I'm reading these definitions, think about it. Depression, the state of being depressed, sadness, gloom, a condition of general emotional dejection and withdrawal, greater and more prolonged than the warranted by any objective real person. Yes. Stockholm Syndrome. It's a feeling of trust or affection felt in certain cases of kidnapping or hostage-taking situations by a victim towards their captor. I'm not going to mention any names attached to Stockholm Syndrome at all, Paul Heyman, but you know who you are. So, moving along, love. Brainwash. Makes someone adopt radically different beliefs by using and often forcibly pressure. The organization could brainwash the youngster. So, yeah. Because when people are young, you could just, it's a sponge up there. And you could just fill it with any fucking thing that you want. You could tell it anything that you want and they'll listen to you and they'll believe you and they'll trust you because they have no one else to trust and they want to trust you and they did trust you. And look what the fuck you did to it. Moving on. Improper influence. Personal power that induces another person to grow considerate or to act on any basis other than the merits of the matter. Fabricate, to make by art or skill and labor, to construct, to assemble, to devise or invent a legend, a lie, a forgery. That's what a fabrication is. None of what I'm saying here is a fabrication. I don't have to fabricate anything because the things the life that I did live doesn't need fabrication. It needs to be on a screen. And that's not anything good or nice I'm saying about myself. That's just a fact, like all these things that I'm reading to you. Assumption. A thing that is accepted as true or as certain to be proof. The action of taking or beginning to take power or responsibility. Okay? See, and people make assumptions all the time that they know shit that they absolutely don't know. People need to stop that. Corrupting the morals of a minor. Ooh, let's read that one. And we can name so many people who have taken part in this. However, we won't because we're more focused on the people who actually committed the crime of pedophilia and child molestation than we are focused on the people who were around to witness it and brought me all around in order for it to happen to me, but then don't want to help me out in proving that I'm not a liar about what did happen. So let's move on to corrupting the morals of a minor. And let's see if you hear it and you can peg yourself in this. Actions of an adult that are influenced a minor to do something wrong, criminal or immoral, such as performing a sexual act. That's from the law.com Law Dictionary, by the way, if anyone wants to look that up. Actually on the law.com's website quite a bit. So if you want to go there and look up some facts, do that, please. Next, manipulate. To handle or control. A tool. Mechanism. Or, in my case, a human being. To control or influence cleverly and unfairly and unscrupulously. So I was the tool. Let's go to these interesting comments. The next one is blackball. To vote against. Blackball. Queen blackball. And why? Because others did wrong to me. To vote against, especially to exclude from membership, negative vote. To exclude socially, ostracize, and boycott. Next. Okay. My daughter's saying this was published January 2013. This is not new information, and censorship and diversion are running rampant. Another video sent to all these news outlets, of which people said, why didn't you talk to this one? And why didn't you go here? And why didn't you go there? Well, why didn't they pick it up and say anything? Perhaps it's because someone got to them before I did. So let's move on with the definition of the difference between statutory rape and rape is that the only factor between legal sexual activity and SR age is lack of consent. And force does not need to be involved in the sexual contact of statutory rape to have occurred. So if I have to unravel that comment for you, it means that whether or not the underage child was consenting in the act of sex with an adult, by law, it's considered statutory rape. Does everyone understand that? Or am I the only fucking one who understands this now? Yeah. Okay, the next one is statutory rape. Sexual contact with an individual who is below the legal age of consent where adults engage in sexual activity with minors, many different terms, all of which can refer to as statutory rape, sexual assault, rape, or corruption of a minor, and many other terms. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's 5 different terms for statutory rape and how you could break the law by having sex with an underage person, child. But none of these terms somehow apply to my situation, I guess. Right? Am I the fucking crazy one here, or are you reading everything that I am? Because all of this is from thelaw.com. All of this is from fucking law books and dictionaries and lawyers that have been spoken to. These are fucking facts right here. And if you're not listening to them, you're not paying good enough attention. Involuntary. Done without will or consent or control. Done again and again within someone's will is compulsory. All right, let me just move down this page. And we'll get to consent, which is permission for something to happen or agreement to give permission for something to happen. Settle, to resolve or reach an agreement about an argument. Trauma is, okay. So if we have an argument and there's a problem, we reach a resolution. See, I had a problem. I brought it up. Everyone heard about it. Enough to attack me and harass me. However, the other half of the argument who should have answered never did. And no one ever went after him. No one ever attacked him. He's still employed. He hasn't been harmed. Nothing's been done to him. And still I sit here talking about it because people still to this day are harassing me about it. And as long as you harass me, I will continue to do this, even though I'm told not to. Fucking suck a dick. Trauma is an injury such as a wound to living tissue caused by an outer agent, a disorder, psychic or behavioral state resulting from severe mental or emotional distress or a physical injury, an emotional upset, agent, force, or mechanism that causes trauma. Okay, so in emotional stress and physical injury, I would pretty much say being full-on raped is enough emotional distress once for the rest of your life, let alone, 2 times, 3 times, or 4 times, and sometimes twice by the same person, Brian. Okay? So some of us will carry things for the rest of our lives, and trauma is one thing that I'll carry for the rest of my life. Thanks to people like Brian Pillman and the Ultimate Warrior, who did things to me that were unnecessary as a willing participant, not necessary at all, but they did what they did and tore me apart inside and out. Moving on, child labor. The use of children in industry or business, especially when considered inhumane. Misdirection, the action of process or directing someone to the wrong direction. Adolescence, the transitional period between puberty and adult development, extending mainly over the teen years and terminating At the age of the majority is reached youth, the process of state of growing maturity. Adolescence, so that's under 18. Child development, the biological and psychological developments being between birth and the end of adolescence. Innocence, the state, quality, or fact of being innocent of a crime or lack of guile or corruption. Purity. I don't know when I was ever innocent or pure. I'm not going to, try to sugarcoat this and try to make it out like I was like I was an angel with a fucking halo on her or anything. But I definitely didn't deserve things that did happen to me. Guilty. Justly chargeable with a particular fault of error. Guilt, the fact of having committed a specific or implied offense, make someone feel guilty, especially in order to induce them to do, freedom, the power or right to act, speak, or think, or do as one wants. Hindrance or restraint, without hindrance or restraint. Absence of subjection to foreign domination of government, the state of being imprisoned or enslaved. Silence. Silence, for some people, is golden. For me, is torturous. So I go on and on I'll go. Silence is a complete absence of sound, caused to become silent and prevent from speaking. See, motherfucker, you may become silent, but the more you don't talk, the more I will. So you keep being silent, assholes. Conscience, an inner feeling or a voice viewed as acting as a guide to rightness or wrongness of one's behavior. He had a guilty conscience over desires. See what I'm saying? When people have guilty consciences, this is the kind of stuff that happens. Power, the ability to do something or act in a particular way, especially faulty or whatever. The capability or ability to direct or influence others' actions during the course of an event. So, power is something that had a lot of power over me. We'll just go through this list. Here's censorship, misconduct, corruption, the word minor, a person under the age of 18, child sexual exploitation. And let's just read that one here, because I don't want this one to get past this here. I want us all to understand what child sexual exploitation is. Using a minor child for profit, power, status, gratification, etc. etc. Just throw sex in there. Children in exploitive situations and relationships receive money or affection as a result of performing sexual activities or others performing sexual activities on them. I want to really thank you all for just being such moralistic people. Just think about what you did to me. Just read that over again to yourselves and think about what you did to me. And then think about why I can't shut up and I won't shut up. Next is exploitation, the action or fact of treating someone unfairly for their work, the action of making use and benefiting from retards, I guess. Victim, a person harmed, injured, or killed as a result of a crime, accident, or other action. Now, victim is a word that's thrown around a lot these days, unfortunately. People have lost sight of what a victim actually is because so many people are crying wolf, calling themselves victims when they're not. but a person harmed, injured, or killed. Harmed. So when you're sexually assaulted, you are harmed. The next ones are the definitions of law, abuse, post-traumatic stress disorder, mental condition including terrifying flashbacks, nightmares, and severe anxiety, as well as uncontrollable thoughts about the event. And if any of you can imagine being woken up at night thinking that you can't breathe because someone's smothering on top of you, or someone's attacking you all over again and for no reason, and you have to feel that all over again like you felt it the first time. Post-traumatic stress is not it's not a game. It's not anything to be taken lightly, and people should really be informed on it. Fake news, misunderstandings, misinformation, opinion, brotherhood, cult, conspiracy, propaganda, child, person 14 years of age and younger, groupie, someone, especially a young woman, often under the age of 18, is a fan of a particular pop group, singer, or other famous people, and follow them around, who seek to achieve status by having sex with them. Everyone reading that? Fan, a person who likes and admires someone. Smart, or smart mark, a person who knows he or she is being scammed. Mark. The origin is from Old English traveling carnivals from the 1800s and early 1900s, where workers would refer to people paying them as marks. An easy target, a sucker, always the short end of a joke or scam, and is never let in on what's going on, and always is being cheated out of money or whatever. Here's further explanation of what statutory rape is in several different dictionaries, and there goes the definition of rape. So, again, we've learned the difference. Here's diversion and fact again, and we're back to the first that we were on. So, now that we're through with that, you know what? I'm going to take this back to the chat here. Excuse me. And I want to see what's going on in the chat. And I'm going to read through some stuff. Okay. K80 joined us. Thank you for joining, Kay. Brittany Brown joined us. Thank you for joining, Brittany. Jeff Miller joined us. Thank you for joining, Jeff. Justin Felix joined us. Thank you for joining, Justin. Ken Sweeney joined us. Thank you for joining, Ken. The Rock Show is joined us. Thank you for joining us. Eric Gargiulo joined us. Thanks for joining, Eric. Christina J joined us. Thank you for joining, Christina. Ralph Deluzio, Sheen, Buddha Dagan, and Patrick Walsh have joined. Thank you for joining. Troy Paul joined us. Thank you for joining, Troy Paul. Troy Paul commented, I believe you. You should be able to post matches you were in, like the Sandman match. You are being chokeslammed by 911, etc. I stand with Angel Amoroso. Thank you very much, Troy Paul. I appreciate it. Ralph DeLucio joined us. Thanks for joining, Ralph. Phil DeJulio has joined us. Thanks for joining, Phil. Mike Avidable joined us. Thanks for joining, Mike. Mike DeMuzio joined us. Thanks for joining, Mike. My comments got to roll. Angel, love you. Thanks for joining anyway. Crystal Thompson joined us. Thanks for joining, Crystal. Jackie Peterson, thank you for joining us, Jackie. An old friend. Sean Rattray has joined. Thank you for joining. Mike Bucci joined. Thank you for joining, Mike Bucci. Ryan Povich joined us. Thanks for joining. Billy Real joined us. Thanks for joining, Billy. Travis Dykes joined us. Thanks for joining. Justin Doan joined us. Thanks for joining. God, I am a wreck now. Calvin Harrington joined us. Thanks for joining, Calvington. Robert Tillelli, thanks for joining, Bestie. And thank you for standing with Angel Amoroso. Troy Paul says, much respect to you for standing up with what you believe. Thank you for joining, Troy. Dino Sana joined us. Thank you for joining, Dino. Christina DeFalco Romano joined us. Thank you so much for joining us, Christina. Rick Jimenez Dialba III joined us. Thank you for joining. Alice Luisha joined us. Thank you for joining. And Yokozuna also joined us for this episode. Thank you all very much for joining. And thank you so much for hanging in there with me. I know that it was a long episode, and these won't really be short because I would really like to get this wrapped up before Christmas time and, give Mick Foley his present on Christmas morning by wrapping these programs up. So I thank everyone for joining me, and I hope you'll join me back next time for another episode of Fuck You, Mick Foley. Until then, have a great night and a great life.
And that concludes that episode of Fuck You, Mick Foley. And I hope you'll join us here back for the next. Until then, like, comment if you have something to say, and make sure to subscribe.